Good day everyone, I am Mechi Ekiachon and we are here today to learn about Republic Act 7394 or best known as the Consumer Act of the Philippines. So why was this act passed? According to Article 16, Section 9 of the 1987 Constitution, the state shall protect consumers from trade malpractices and from substandard or hazardous products. So the legislative body of the government deemed necessary nga dapat naatay consumer protection nga law para sa atong mga citizens. So that's why they made or this act was passed. In Article 2, Declaration of Basic Policy, it is the policy of the state to protect the interest of the consumer, promote his general welfare, and to establish standards of conduct for business and industry. So the state shall implement measures to achieve the following objectives. Lima ni sila kabuok. Protection against hazard to health and safety, protection against deceptive, unfair, and unconscionable sale acts and practices, provision of information and education to facilitate sound choice and the proper exercise of rights by the consumer, the provision of adequate rights and means of redress, and involvement of consumer representatives in the formulation of social and economic policies. So let's move on to the second title of this Act, Chapter 1, Consumer Product Quality and Safety. Article 5, Declaration of Policy, it shall be the duty of the state to develop and provide safety and quality standards for consumer products, including performance or use-oriented standards, codes of practice, and methods of test. To assist the consumer in evaluating the quality, including safety, performance, and comparative utility of consumer products. To protect the public against unreasonable risks of injury associated with consumer products. To undertake research on quality improvements of products and investigation into causes and prevention of product-related deaths, illness, and injuries. To assure the public of the consistency of standardized products. So, kinsa di ay amo enforce ani mga rules and regulations. So, in Article 6, you list there ang mga implementing agencies. So, the provisions of this article and its implementing rules and regulations shall be enforced by three implementing agencies. The Department of Health with respect to food, drugs, cosmetics, devices, and substances. The Department of Agriculture with respect to products related to agriculture. And the Department of Trade and Industry with respect to other consumer products not specified above. So the three implementing agencies shall establish consumer product quality and safety standards which shall consist of one or more of the following: requirements to performance, composition, contents, design, construction, finish, packaging of a consumer product, requirements as to kind, class, grade, dimensions, weights, material, requirements as to the methods of sampling, test, and codes used to check the quality of the products, requirements as to precautions in storage, transporting, and packaging, requirements that a consumer product be marked with or accompanied by clear and adequate safety warnings or instructions, or requirements respecting the form of warnings or instructions. Tungod ani ang mga concerned department mo-adopt ni silang existing government domestic product quality and safety standards, provided that in the absence of such standards, the concerned department mo form ni silang specialized technical committees composed of equal number of representatives from each of the government, business, and consumer sectors to formulate, develop, and purpose consumer product quality and safety standards. Kani nga committee mo consult ni sila sa private sector which may motu proprio, meaning an official act taken without a formal request from another party, develop its own quality and safety standards that shall be subject or agencies after public hearings have been conducted for that purpose, and shall likewise consider existing international standards recognized by the Philippine government. Of consumer product standards, the concerned department shall, upon promulgation of the above standards, publish or cause the publication of the same in 2 newspapers of general circulation at least once a week for a period of not less than 1 month. It may likewise conduct an information campaign through other means such as social media para lang ma-ensure gyud nga na ay proper guidance sa consumers, businesses, industries, and the other sectors nga concerned. So the effectivity of rules. So each consumer product, standard, or safety rule shall specify the date such rule is to take effect, which shall not exceed 90 days from the date promulgated, unless nga ang katong concerned department muhatag sila good reason nga nung mo na nga date siya mo take effect. So after which dili na pwede mo sell or distribute ani nga product if dili siya ka-comply sa standards or rules. So the department may by regulation prohibit a manufacturer from stockpiling consumer products as to prevent such manufacturer from circumventing the purposes of this paragraph. So circumventing meaning dili niya malikayan ang purposes sa kaninga paragraph. So Article 10, injurious, dangerous, and unsafe products. So whenever the department find by their own initiative or by petition of a consumer that a consumer product is found to be injurious, unsafe, or dangerous, it shall, after due notice and hearing, make the appropriate order for its recall, prohibition, or seizure from public sale or distribution. So, provided that, in the sound discretion of the department, it may declare a consumer product to be eminently injurious, unsafe, or dangerous, and order is immediate recall, ban, or seizure from public sale or distribution, in which case the seller, distributor, manufacturer, or producer is awarded a hearing within 48 hours from such order. So if it is announced nga banned na ang kaninga product, mo stay na siya banned until nga naanay safety measure nga ni-ensure na siya nga safe na ni siya nga product. So mo na siya. Article 11, amendment and revocation of declaration of the injurious, unsafe, or dangerous character of a consumer product. So, any interested person may petition the appropriate department to commence a proceeding for the issuance of an amendment or revocation of a consumer product safety rule or an order declaring a consumer product injurious, dangerous, and unsafe in case the department, upon petition by an interested party or by its own initiative, after due notice o gang hearing, na find out nga kani nga product is substandard or materially defective, ilang i-notify ang manufacturer nga nain ani nga finding, i-order nila nga duha ni sa kabuok, i-give notice to the public of the defect or failure to comply with the safety standards. So give notice to the public of the defect unsay depekto ani nga consumer product, unya ang unsa ilang wala na comply with the product safety standards. So for example, like kanang na ay common ni siya sa kanang mga car. So na i-recall sa kaninga units, kaninga year nga gi-release ng mga units, i-recall nila kay na ay defect sa ilang airbag or inana siya. So that's an example. So B, give notice to each distributor or retailer of such product. So the department shall also direct the manufacturer, distributor, or seller of such product to extend any or all of the following remedies to the injured person. So these are the remedies. So these are 4. First is to bring such product into conformity with the requirements of the applicable consumer product standards or to repair the defect in order to conform with the same. So, repair ang unsay depekto. To replace the product with a like or equivalent product which complies with the applicable consumer product standards which does not contain the defect. to refund the purchase price of the product less a reasonable allowance for use, and to pay the consumer reasonable damages as may be determined by the department. So, kung ano siya, any or all. So, depende na sa manufacturer, distributor, or seller. So, Article 12, Effectivity of Amendments and Revocation of Consumer Product Safety Rule. So, any amendment or revocation of a consumer product safety rule made by the concerned department shall specify the date on which it shall take effect, which shall not exceed 90 days from the date of amendment or revocation is published, unless the concerned department, for a good cause shown, nihatag sila good reason nga nganong later ang iyang effective date, later than within sa 90 days. So, Article 13, New Products. The concerned department shall take measures to make a list of new products and to cause the publication of the respective manufacturers or importers of such products, a list thereof together with the descriptions in a newspaper of general circulation. Article 14, Certification of Conformity to Consumer Product Standards. So, the concerned department shall aim at having a consumer product standards established for every consumer product, so that consumer product shall be distributed in commerce only after inspection na and its certification of its quality and safety standards by the department. So, mo na siya. Unya ra ma-distribute, ma-sell ang kana nga consumer product if na-inspect na siya and nana siya kanang certification sa iyang quality and safety standards. So, ana nga concern nga department. So, the manufacturer shall avail of this Philippine Standard Certification Mark. So, remember that, Philippine Standard Certification Mark, which the department shall grant after determining the product's compliance with the relevant standard in accordance with the implementing rules and regulations. So, upat, fails to comply with an applicable consumer product quality and safety standard or rule, is or has been determined to be injurious, unsafe, and dangerous, is substandard, or has a material defect. Consumer product to a hearing with respect to the importation of such products into the Philippines. If ni-appear gani nga wala jud ni conform to the rules and ang product ma-refuse gyud ni siya admission unless ang owner or ang consignee manifests under bond that none of the above is ground of the above kay kaning mga grounds for non-admission does not exist, or that measures have been taken to cure them before they were sold, distributed, or offered for sale to the general public. So, mo na siya. Any consumer product, the sale or use of which has been banned or withdrawn in the country of manufacture shall not be imported into the country. So, if ever kaning product kay na-modify na, so it can already be accepted, the concerned department may defer final examination as to the admission of such product for a period of not exceeding 10 days, and in accordance with such regulations as the department and the Commissioner of Customs shall jointly promulgate, such product may be released from customs custody under bond for the purpose of permitting the owner or consignee an opportunity to so modify such product. So, all modifications taken by an owner or consignee for the purpose of securing admission of an imported consumer product under paragraph C shall be subject to the supervision of the concerned department. If the product cannot be modified, or if the owner or consignee is not proceeding to is satisfactorily modify such product, ma-refuse gani siya admission, and the department may direct redelivery of the product into customs custody or i-seize nila kung wala na redeliver. So, ang kaning wala na admitted nga product, so dapat ibalik ni siya gigikan, so export na siya. Except that upon application, the Commissioner of Customs may permit the destruction of the product. So, pwede i-destroy sa customs a product if within a reasonable time, the owner or consignee thereof fails to export the same. So, all expenses in connection with the destruction provided for in this article and all expenses in connection with the storage, cartage, or labor with respect to any consumer product refused admission under this article shall be paid by the owner or consignee, and in default of such payment shall constitute a lien against any future transportation made by such owner or consignee. So, mo bayad gihapon sila in case na sila mga future importation. So, Article 16, Consumer Products for Export. So, the preceding article on safety does not apply to any consumer product if it can be shown that such product is manufactured, sold, or held for sale for export from the Philippines, or that such product was imported for export, unless such consumer product is in fact distributed in commerce for use in the Philippines. Such consumer product or the packaging thereof bears a stamp or label stating that such consumer product is intended for export and actually exported na siya. So, Article 17, mo ni siya ang powers, functions, and duties sa mga concerned department. So, the concerned department shall have these following powers, functions, and duties. So, they have the power, function, and duty to administer and supervise the implementation of this article and its implementing rules and regulations. To undertake researches, develop, and establish quality and safety standards for consumer products in coordination with other government and private agencies closely associated with these products. So, ilahapon ng duty to inspect and analyze consumer products for purposes of determining conformity to established quality and safety standards. They have the power to levy, assess, collect, and retain fees as are necessary to cover the cost of inspection, certification, analysis, and test of samples of consumer products and materials submitted in compliance with the provisions of this article. So, they have the duty to investigate the causes of and maintain a record of product-related deaths, illnesses, and injuries for use in researches or studies on the prevention of such product-related deaths, illnesses, and injuries. So, to accredit independent, competent non-government bodies to assist in one monitoring. So sila po na ang mo-accredit sa mga competent non-government bodies to assist in monitoring the market for the presence of hazardous or non-certified products and other forms of violations of Article 18, and other appropriate means to expand the monitoring and enforcement outreach of the department in relation to its manpower, testing, and certification resources at a given time, and kinalasan, to accredit independent competent testing laboratories. So, what are the prohibited acts and penalties? So, Article 18, nadiri ang prohibited acts. So, it is unlawful for any person to manufacture for sale, offer for sale, distribute in commerce, or import into the Philippines any consumer product which is not in conformity with an applicable consumer product quality or safety standard promulgated in this act. It is unlawful po to manufacture or sell, distribute, or import ang mga consumer product nga banned. So, it is unlawful sad to refuse access to or copying of pertinent records or fail or refuse to permit entry of or inspection by authorized officers or employees by the department. So, unlawful po ang fail to comply with an order issued under Article 2 relating to notifications of substantial product hazards and to recall, repair, replacement, or refund of unsafe products. And lastly, fail to comply with the rule prohibiting stockpiling. So nato sa Article 9 nga ginadili ang pag-stockpile sa kanang in regards of the effectivity of rules. So, what are the penalties aning mga prohibited acts? So, in Article 19, any person who shall violate Article 18 shall upon conviction be subject to a fine of not less than 1,000 pesos but not more than 10,000 pesos, or imprisonment of not less than 2 months but not more than a year, or both upon the discretion of the court. If the offender is an alien, he shall be deported after service of sentence and payment of fine without further deportation proceedings. So, if ang offender ani is naturalized citizen kanang foreigner gani na citizen na diri, so in addition na to nga penalty nga gi-prescribe, mo suffer po ni sila sa cancellation of naturalization certificate hasta ang registration ani niya sa civil register. So, naasa ni siya immediate deportation after service of sentence and payment of fine. So, lastly, any director, officer, or agent of a corporation who shall authorize, order, or perform any of the acts or practices constituting in whole or in a part violation of Article 18, and who has knowledge or notice of non-compliance received by the corporation from the concerned department shall be subject to penalties to which that corporation may be subject. So, in case the violation is committed by or in the interest of a foreign juridical person duly licensed to engage in business in the Philippines, such license to engage in business shall be immediately revoked. So, that's all for Article 19.